Ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to What Culture's Wrestling Afternoon Show, or as we like to call it in these parts, hashtag Good Afternoons. I am your Janile host, Adam Clery, joined as ever by the handsome Adam Nicholas. Say hello, Adam Nicholas.
Hello, handsome Adam Nicholas.
And have we got 2 stories and a half for you today? The first one's actually quite a feel-good one, for me. Although I imagine the reaction it's going to get.
Well, everyone else.
This thing, I think it's going to divide opinion. We'll get to it in a second. Don't worry about it. It is going to divide opinion because there's going to. I think you'll hear a part of it and be like, "Well, that's good," but then you hear another part and be like, "Wait, what?" The story goes, according to Big Banter Uncle Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer today, that WWE have approached 2 former employees about making a return to NXT.
Indeed.
Do you want to know who that is?
Let's pretend I don't know who they are.
Let's pretend you didn't see the headline or the thumbnail on your way in. It's Enzo and Cass.
Boom.
According to, and I've got the quote right here.
Who would have predicted that at the start
Literally,
of
absolutely
this
nobody. Meltzer says, we don't know if they've accepted the offer, but Cass really hasn't done much on the indie scene and has also made it clear he wants to go back. Enzo, who really knows? He says a lot of things, but his rap career isn't exactly going anywhere. Now, I live for Dave Meltzer's appraisals of people's rap careers.
Yep.
Drop that album some point in the future, Dave, please. It's a bit of an odd one, this, because I always thought Enzo and Cass, they should have been in NXT a little bit longer. They were such an overact, but they should have had a run with the belts. They should have got, I think, a victory over the Revival at some stage, like a big one to really cap off that time there. And then, you know, as we've said before, maybe when you go to the main roster, have something for them to do.
A plan, you mean?
Yeah, because it was like the Enzo Cass breakup story was always going to be somewhere in their future. But you thought like 2 or 3 years' time, really make it mean something. Not like 12 to 18 months in when they're just directionless as a tag team. And then Cass beat him up, but then he didn't. But then it turns out he did, but then Enzo forgave him, and then he beat him up again anyway. And then they had that one match, and then they went their separate ways. And then Enzo somehow had the better singles career. And then there was all that. Yeah, it says here, unpleasantness, so it won't be referring to any of that. It's a bit of an odd one, this, and I think the good side of this is that things weren't going well for Cass. We saw those photos of him on indie shows. He was ballooning up. He looked tired. He looked like he was starting to spiral. There'd been talk of him having alcohol problems backstage. He's fallen out with a lot of people. His attitude was in the wrong place, and he saw these pictures and he thought, yeah, you can see where this is going. It's not pleasant. But things have picked up. Apparently, he's turned his life around. He's done various different things. We've seen photos of him at indie shows looking absolutely jacked.
Fantastic
So
condition.
if nothing else, he is, as Sidgwick's put in this article, he's in Vince-friendly shape.
Vince-friendly shape, and all courtesy of DDP Yoga, who he's been fervently pushing.
Is that
That's
what
what it is. That's what he says.
I didn't know that.
And obviously a nutritionist and stuff.
Always DDP Yoga now, isn't it?
It is, because it's important. But the thing, I think there's some really important things to note here, is that Enzo and Big Cass, a team who are, when in NXT, they were, I can't describe to you
how over they were.
It was, I don't think there's been an act like them, honestly. It was that over.
This is slightly before your time at What Culture, but we used to have this little system in the office. Just going to bore you with some in-office part here. We got this system built where everybody could basically use Spotify or use various search tools, and it would all feed in to a central music player in the office. Everyone could queue up songs like a jukebox. And every single day, without fail, either myself or Mr. J. Jobber, formerly of this parish, would put on the Enzo and Cass theme tune because we just loved them that much.
Pop. They had everything.
They never, lightning in a bottle with
They
them.
never got the NXT tag titles. They never got WWE tag titles on either of the 2 brands. And I think the other thing that was really sad, obviously, was because I know at the time it was like Big Cass got released and everyone was kind of taking jibes and stuff, but really, that's a guy who was going through a really tough time, man. Like, split up with his long-term partner who he just bought a house with, having just had, on the verge of a singles push because Vince McMahon liked him, a massive injury that kept him out for so long. The guy was depressed, he was having all sorts of drinking issues.
It's all understandable, like,
and it makes sense when you put it all together, and it's nice to see if it does indeed happen. There's a bit of a turn on that.
The really interesting thing for this is, of course, the power struggle that went on behind the scenes in regards to how these 2 got used, because especially when it came to Enzo, Vince loved Enzo apparently. According to his favourite thing on the show every single week. Vince loved him. He wanted to give him he wanted to give him a microphone, wanted to give him a push, wanted Pac to put him over. Back in the day, he loved him so very much, whereas Triple H was, we're led to believe, less than fond of him as both a performer and a professional.
I think he was aware of him, is probably fair. Triple H it was who actually found him and was
according to Enzo. According to Enzo, it was Triple H who found him.
Indeed.
But that's another story for another time.
But the point the point to make there is that Enzo was also the guy Vince used to love watching get beat up as well. Like, little guy, I mean, remember the Royal Rumble? When he got all prepped to go in there with Brock Lesnar, and he got chucked straight back out.
We should say as well that, like, relationships, especially when it comes to Vince McMahon, are no obstacle whatsoever to doing business with the man. He's repeatedly shook hands with people he's, like, written off, or that have fallen out with the company. Never, ever, 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 ever say never with WWE. But
Eric Bischoff's back.
Yeah, Bischoff's back, which is about as good an example as you need. But this is one of the wildest stories to come out of this year, surely. If indeed it happens.
Nobody would have had this. Nobody would have bet this.
Well, big banter Uncle Dave did. And also, this brings to light my favourite thing. If you'd taken anybody to one side during the Enzo and Cass peak in NXT, when they were opening every NXT live show, and you said, do you know who's going to have the best WWE career, the most decorated performer out of all of them? Carmella.
Yeah.
And genuinely, she is probably the best wrestler out of the three by a
The
mile.
one who couldn't get ring time at all, pretty much, when she was working with them too. So that's...
Love that story.
It tells you, turn on a dime it can.
But you know what else can turn on a dime?
Go on then.
This news video, because we've got another story, haven't we?
And also, rosters in WWE. Because Monday Night Raw and SmackDown are two very different brands. And as we've seen many times before, we've endured the odd superstar shake-up.
Guys.
Superstar shake-up that's happened, or the draft, or however you want to put it, where we pick superstars who go on Raw and SmackDown. And obviously, in recent weeks and months, it's all meant nothing, because they've made the wildcard rule and had people floating between shows. At this point, we're more in a colour purple than red or blue at any stage between the two brands. It looks like they're trying to get that back in the future, because apparently, prior to their move to Fox, it seems like we're going to be getting another draft potentially to sort of redefine both brands. This is obviously per our good friend Uncle Dave, and I will give you his quote as we have
Rap music reporter.
Rap music reporter. Obviously, we will be getting an interview with him for What Culture Music in the future.
Grime journalist Dave Meltzer.
Exactly. Right now, he says there is a concept of another draft type of thing to build permanent Raw and SmackDown rosters. What we were originally told is that they wouldn't be making major changes, but some changes. But this is Vince. It says everything is being kept quiet, and USA and Fox will be the first to know when the concept is decided. Apart from us and Big Dave Meltzer.
I will jump straight away in here and say that this is like necessary, because they've made, since the last draft and since the superstar shake-up and since the wild card rule, basically everything post WrestleMania has been a mess. Like, we actually did it on one of the podcasts. We did a quiz. We're going to name the superstar. You have to say what brand they're officially on. And given that there's people who full-time write about WWE for a living here and know everything, the amount of people who are like, well, they're mostly on SmackDown, but I think they're Raw. Like, it is a complete undivided mess. Now, given that we know they want to make both brands so distinctive when they move to Fox, it needs to feel like, almost needs to feel like two separate companies.
Yeah, well, that was the whole point of getting Bischoff and Heyman, wasn't it? To split the two brands.
Raw and SmackDown need to feel like each other's greatest competition. That's when WWE is at their best. And to do that, you do kind of have to draw a line under all this jumping around and not knowing who's going where. So another draft, especially if they call it a draft, not a bloody superstar shake-up, another terminology I absolutely despise. It would draw a line under everything that's gone before this change, and then you can just start afresh after. I think it's a good idea.
It's ironic, really, isn't it? They're going to go for another draft to separate things, when actually the whole problem with this in the first place is because every draft that they make in the script for either show, Vince McMahon decides to wander in, rip it up, chuck it in the air, fart it out into existence, and then rewrite it again with 5 minutes to go. So perhaps this could be a good thing, if indeed, of course, it does happen. Because while Dave does provide excellent news, it can't always be right, because wrestling changes like that, as does Vince McMahon's mind. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about the fact that there's two different words, two different meanings of the word draft.
Indeed. He does tear them up an awful lot, doesn't he?
And then
also decides who's going to be on which brand in a draft, and then goes, actually, no, going to invent a thing. 4 of them can move a couple of nights, but sometimes 6 of them, sometimes 2, sometimes none at all.
I've got a really interesting fact that I want to it's a random fact. You can tie it to whatever you want, but I read a research this morning in the latest issue of GQ. I was reading a nice article about sleep.
You read GQ.
Of course. I was reading a nice article about sleep, and apparently there's a little window where if you don't get enough of it, believe it or not, it can actually have effects that lead to things like dementia. As a man who once admitted he has 2 hours sleep on a daily basis, Vince McMahon, that's 2 separate facts. I just thought I'd put them out there, and I'm going to let you tie the knots together in which any way you see fit.
This is, by the way, yesterday you did say that things would be better if you just like shuffled off this mortal coil.
Listen,
You're on one this week.
Listen, I'm just saying.
What's up?
I'm just saying.
Come on, talk to me.
It's so
He does
He
make
makes it so difficult.
he does make a good point though. You make a good point. As we all know, anybody who's from Britain will know, Maggie Thatcher famously said she only got 3 or 4 hours asleep
That
a night.
was actually a quote in the article, funnily enough.
And she, of course, demented early and died. So God knows what's in the future for Vince McMahon. But hey!
So hey Vince, who needs sleep?
Who needs sleep, eh? Yeah, that's the big stories we have for you today. Enzo and Cass might be coming back. Hey, they might come back in the next draft. These could line up absolutely perfectly. That's how I'd book it, but we don't talk about that anymore. Let us know what you made of it all in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Where can they get you on Twitter?
Bada boom! Realest Twitter handle in the room. You can get me at It's Adam Nicholas, and you can find him at
Adam Clery,
yes, he's got better at it.
C-L-E-R-Y. The entire What Culture Wrestling family are available at your discretion at What Culture WWE. Get the questions in for the boys in the morning. They will answer them much quicker and neater and preciser than
it'll look good.
Than us, yeah. Well, I think the point is we've been up all day by the time we do these videos.
That's
Thus,
true.
we haven't had sleep.
All day.
So we're kind of making the point. Whereas Murray and
Nicholas.
Adam, I've gone entirely here.
Before we go, one last question. What's the opposite of hard?
Easy.
No.
Soft. Oh, it's so good. He's been out my life for that long, mate.
Cut. What's the opposite of hard?
Soft.
Soft. That'll do.
See you there.
Bye-bye.
Bye.